Alright, so let us start. Gururbrahma, Gururvishnu, Gururdevo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshal Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. सिन्दूरारुणविग्रहां तृणयनां माणिक्यमौलिस्फुर तारानायकशेखरां स्मितमुखीमाबीनवक्षोरुहां पाणिभ्यामणिपूर्णरत्नचषकं रक्तोत्पलं बिभ्रतीं सौम्यां रत्नगडस्थरक्तचरणां ध्यायेत्पराम् अम्बिकां ध्यायेत् पद्मासनस्तां विकसितवदनां पद्मवक्त्राय दाक्षीं हेमाभां पीतवस्त्रां करकलितलसत् हेमपद्मां वराङ्गीं सर्वालङ्कारयुक्तां सततमभयदां भक्तनम्रां भवानीं श्रीविद्यां शान्तमूर्तिं सकलसुरनुदां सर्वसम्पत्प्रदात्रीं सकुङ्कुमविलेपनामलिकचुम्बिकस्तूरिकां समन्दसितेक्षणां ससर्जाभवाशाङ्कुशाम् अशेषजनमोहिनी मरुणमाल्यभूषोज्ज्वलां जपाकुसुमभासुरां जपविदौ स्मरेदम्बिकाम् अरुणां करुणातरङ्गिताक्षीं धृतपाशाङ्कुशपुष्पबाणजावाम् अणिमादिविरावृतां मयूकैः अहमित्येव विभावये महेशीम्। ॐ पराशक्ति नमः। ॐ पराशक्ति नमः। ॐ पराशक्ति नमः। Today we will go from 166 till 180. Again, another 15 names of Lalitha Sahasranamam Devi. So let us start. ॐ निष्पापायै नमः। ॐ पापनाशिन्यै नमः। ॐ निष्क्रोधायै नमः। ॐ क्रोधशमन्यै नमः। ॐ निर्लोभायै नमः। ॐ लोभनाशिन्यै नमः। ॐ निस्संशयायै नमः। ॐ संशयज्ञै नमः। ॐ निर्भवायै नमः। ॐ भवनाशिन्यै नमः। ॐ निर्विकल्पायै नमः। ॐ निराबाधायै नमः। ॐ निर्भेदायै नमः। ॐ भेदनाशिन्यै नमः। ॐ निर्नाशायै नमः। So we'll start with the first name, which is for today, which is Nishpapa. Om Nishpapayai Namaha. The literal meaning is Nishpapa, which is Papa is sin. So she who is without sin. Who is Devi? Devi is the person who is without sin. What that implies is that she is completely pure. She is ever pure. She is ever knowing and totally free from sin. She is totally free from sin. Why she is free from sin? Because she does not have any bonds. Devi does not have any bonds. We have talked about the fact that she is completely independent. She is the cause. She is not impacted by the cause. She is unchanging, Moola Prakriti. So because of all these things, because she is the cause and she is unchanging, and because she has no bond, she has bonds with the devotees, of course, but she has no bond of her own self, and therefore she has no sin. She is completely free from sin. She is completely pure, ever knowing and ever free. So she is not affected by any bonds of karma which can cause sin. This bondage is the reason why we are all caught in this mode of prarabdha. We are caught in this mode of prarabdha. We are caught in this mode of being in relationships, and this causes sin. This causes different forms of karma, and therefore results in sin. So what the Gita says is that he who performs actions offering them to Brahman, abandoning attachment, is not tainted by sin, as a lotus leaf is by water. So when you look at what happens when water falls on lotus leaf, nothing happens. It floats. It just floats as droplets of water on that lotus leaf. So there is no impact of the water on the lotus leaf. Similarly, as far as we are concerned, if our approach is one of detachment, if our approach is one of detachment, then there is no chance of committing any form of sin. So if this is the state of any karma yogi, somebody who is following the path of karma yogi, then we can say that this is basically representing Devi. Who is Devi? She is Nishpapa, one who is without sin. And how does she take care of the world? She takes care of the world with the good of all people in mind. All people, the goodness of all people in mind is what is on Devi's mind. So, and there is no attachment to the fruits of action. Now you say that you do your duty. You do your duty, don't bother about what is the fruit. So similarly, as far as Devi is concerned, Devi is only the cause. She is not bothered about the effect. Because of that, there is no attachment to the fruits of action, and therefore she is free from all sin. She is Nishpapa. The next one, 167, Papanashini. Om Papanashinyai Namaha. So, if you remember the way these names of Devi are going, first it is the Neti, the negation, and then the next is the destroying of these aspects in her devotees. First is the negation, and then the destroyal of these aspects in her devotees. So who is Devi? Devi is Papanashini. Papanashini is the person who destroys all the sins of her devotees. She destroys all the sins of her devotees. So what the ultimate meaning of this is that if somebody wants to get complete knowledge of the self, who is the self? Devi. Complete knowledge of Devi, then you have to do penance. You have to do penance. It is meditation, it is japa, spend time in holy places. And if you do all these things, what are these things? These are spiritual practices. Now we are going back to something which we've been talking about. I've talked about in the Bhajan Mandali also, spiritual practices. These are spiritual practices, which is doing japa, doing meditation, doing chanting, doing this, doing that, doing puja, all the different kinds of things that we do. If we do all this, we will not be tainted by sin. Okay, Devi accepts that. And if any sin is committed by those people who do all these things, then those sins are instantly reduced to ashes. But if instead of doing these things, someone has taken complete refuge at the feet of Devi, instead of what is that spiritual practice is, if somebody takes complete refuge at the feet of Devi, then you don't need to do spiritual practices. So what this means is that the important thing is not spiritual practices, but practicing spirituality. Two different things. We have been talking about it. The importance of practicing spirituality. So there is no point in saying, I will do this puja, I will do this, I will do that, I will take arati, this, I will break 21 coconuts. All this is good, no problem. These are spiritual practices. More than spiritual practices, what Devi is saying is that practice spirituality. Complete Sampurna Sharanagati. Where? Sampurna Sharanagati at the feet of Devi. Sampurna Sharanagati at the feet of Devi will give you what? Will give you complete cleansing of your sins. Complete cleansing of your sins will happen if you resort to complete or Sampurna Sharanagati at the feet of Devi. Papanashini. Devi is Papanashini. Now, 168, very important. We're all humans. We're going back to the same different issues that we all have as humans. Nishkroda. Nishkroda. What does that mean? Devi is a person who is without krodha. She who is without anger. Yeah? Nishkrodayai namaha. Om Nishkrodayai namaha. Desire. Desire is the mother of anger. Yeah? If there is no desire, there is no anger. What is desire? Wanting to do this, wanting to do that, wanting to be in this group, wanting to be in that group. That is what is called as desire. That desire should go out from your system. If that desire goes out from your system, there will be no anger. When you are expecting something to happen and when that something does not happen, that results in anger. That is that desire that something should happen and it does not go as per your way, automatically anger creeps in. So this is, they say that desire is the mother of anger. Desire is the mother of anger. And what is anger? Anger is destructive. So if you are having stomach problems, if you are having liver problems, all these problems you are having, don't think that it is just because of your food. If you are having acidity, it is not because of your food. Food will be one reason. Bigger reason than all these things is what is inside you, the emotions that are inside you. That is the biggest reason which creates all these problems for you. Those are the biggest problems for you. You are having stomach upset, you are having acidity, all these things. The reason is these emotions such as krodha, such as lobha, moha, all these things are what are killing you from inside. Yeah. So anger is destructive and one should consciously control it, and only if you control your anger, that applies to me. So once you control your anger, and that is they say that is when you can gain complete freedom. So what you should do as individuals, I don't know how many of you have this habit of getting angry, but if you have a habit of getting angry, today you write down on a piece of paper, take a diary, write down on a piece of paper, in that diary, write down, today this is the date, and how many times did you get angry. You track that anger meter, or you want to call it angerometer, no problem, you track it. Track that angerometer on a scale of 1 to 10, you got angry, how much you got angry. And you write down what all you did in that anger. So, the way wives express anger, there are several ways in which wives express anger. One is silence. One method of anger is complete silence. Completely chup, no communication. Second way is action in the kitchen. The vessels will be, instead of normally keeping the vessels, vessels will be thrown down. Or maybe it will be thrown, literally thrown. 1 or 2 plates will break. All these things will happen. Anger will be shown. This is another way. Third is straight war. Take out this thing and fight with the husband. Start fighting. So this is the third way in which anger will be expressed. So you don't know which form will be anger. The final one will be coming to blows. Final one will be husband and wife hitting each other. Sometimes it will be with pillows. That is okay, no problem. You can say that is some love-hate kind of relationship. But if it is going beyond hitting, keeping the pillows on and wearing boxing gloves, it's a problem. So when you are having these many ways in which anger can be expressed, be careful. because all this is going to do. The greatest harm will be silence. The greatest harm will be silence, when you go silent, because that anger is inside you. Anger is a negative emotion which is inside you. It is going to eat you. It's going to eat your liver. It's going to eat your acid is going to keep getting secreted in your stomach, in your intestines, and it's going to finish you. So don't think that it's a great thing. Oh, I'm angry. I'm showing my ego. You're asking for trouble for yourself. They say that ahimsa paramo dharma. Ahimsa is the biggest dharma. Yeah. So we are going beyond, little more into detail in this one. So what Lord Krishna is saying is that desire and anger born out of Rajoguna are enemies, all devouring and all sinful. I am not saying, this is Lord Krishna who is saying it. It is the most dangerous thing. Yeah. So conquering these enemies is one of our biggest life victory. If we can conquer our anger, that is one of the biggest victories that we can achieve. And whatever penance we do, whatever meditation we do, whatever japa, whatever we are doing should be directed towards that singular emotion of anger. We'll just go a little more into Patanjali's Ashtanga Yoga. It's not related to this, but it has got a relation because you're talking of ahimsa. If you look at Patanjali's Ashtanga Yoga, and a lot of us here are attending yoga classes. In Ashtanga Yoga, the first one is Yama Niyama. Yama Niyama, Asana, Pranaya, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. These are the 8 steps in Ashtanga Yoga. The first step is Yama, social behavior. In social behavior, the first aspect of Yama is ahimsa. The first aspect of Yama is ahimsa. What is ahimsa? Hinsa is violence. Ahimsa is non-violence. Ahimsa means you should ensure that there is no hinsa, violence towards, even in thought. Even in thought. Physical violence is not being referred to here. Even thought, that is also considered as ahimsa. Yeah, so it is extremely important that we ensure that this is the step we take, and once we take that step and learn compassion. Learn compassion. What is compassion? Think about others. Empathy. Think about others. Think about going back to service. What can you give? Not what you can take. Take, but also learn to give. And what you give should be more than what you can take. What you give should be more than what you can take. Who is seeing all these things? Not you, me, whoever. Up there, somebody is putting it down in the diary. Okay, this person has given this much. This person has taken this much more. Instead, look to see what you can give. What more you can give. The more you give, the more you get from there. Basic economy of supply demand. That is what is happening here. So, we should ensure that ahimsa, paramo dharma, we should ensure that this is followed in our life. We should make mindful choices. We should ensure that our thoughts are completely managed and exercise more patience. Now, if ahimsa means that we keeping quiet, no, so we should not, so somebody is doing something which is wrong. Somebody is doing something which is completely unacceptable, and still, no, ahimsa, you can't go and say something wrong. No, that is not what ahimsa means. Ahimsa means that if you see adharma happening, stand up. That is what Lord Krishna has also said. He has not said, okay, in fact, this is what, there is the one commentary again by Mahatraya about the Bhagavad Gita. This commentary about Bhagavad Gita, what Mahatraya says is that, see, if it is very simple, don't do your duty, just go and pray to God. How simple it is. So Krishna will say, turn around, okay, you break one coconut on my head, walk around me 3 times, it is over, finished. Then you don't need to do anything. What is Arjuna supposed to do? Arjuna is supposed to go and fight the battle. Arjuna was supposed to go and fight the battle. So Krishna says, no, you don't need to fight the battle, Arjuna. You come, you break one coconut on my head, it is over, enough. and I will take care of the rest. No, Krishna is saying you do your duty. Stand up for dharma. That is what Lord Krishna also said. Stand up for dharma. So, the bottom line is, Devi is a person who is without anger. Why is all this description being given? Because something that we need to do is, we need to ensure that we don't get anger. How can we prevent anger? By ensuring that we don't get overcome by desire. That is the important thing that we have to take care of. 169. Krodha Shamani. Krodha Shamani. Om Krodha Shamanyai Namaha. She who destroys anger in all her devotees. So suppose you see Devi, you see Devi, you go to a Devi temple, will you get bhakti, or you'll get angry? Start getting angry by seeing Devi. No. The minute you see Lalitha Sahasranamam Devi in all her beauty and splendor, your anger will melt. She completely takes away all your anger. That is Devi Krodha Shamani. Om Nirlobhayai Namaha. Om Nirlobhayai Namaha. 170. She who is without greed. Now, there are Ashtaragas. What are the Ashtaragas? These are the 8 emotions. These 8 emotions are the blockage to liberation. These 8 emotions are blockage to liberation. What are these 8 emotions? Greed, desire, anger, delusion, pride, envy, conceit, and spite. Now, if you ask yourselves, how many of this do you have? What is the percentage inside of these emotions inside you? Desire, anger, delusion, pride, envy, conceit, spite. How many of these emotions do you have? What percentage? Say, if you turn around and say, I am perfect, then you should be sitting next to Lalitha Sahasranamam Devi. I have nothing inside me. I am perfect. Then sit next to, ask Lalitha Sahasranamam Devi, thoda side mein de do yaar, mere ko thoda jagah chahiye. I'll sit next to you. Obviously, we are nowhere there. We are shishus. We are very small insects in front of Devi. So we have a long way to go. We have all these emotions within us, and we need to work on these emotions to try and control these emotions and get these emotions out of us one by one. So the greed is the evil tendency to hoard what is already in one's possession. So you have got a classic example is, suppose we are having a shortage of water here. God forbid. Yeah, tomorrow there is some water shortage issue, and you have got 20 liters of water in your house. Somebody comes along and says, "Mere ko ek bottle de do yaar." Compassion should come in there. Give that water. It means that your water will go. It doesn't matter. That person needs water. He's desperate for water. Give it. So that act of compassion is going into your books, into your part of your good karma. Don't hoard. Don't turn around and say that everything is mine. Ye pura. So they say, when you walk, when you are taken on that final walk, when you are taken on that final walk, that final journey, you are not going to take these bottles of water with you. That final walk, somebody else has to carry you. So remember this, that greed is not going to help you. It's in fact an impediment for you in that final journey also. Greed is the enemy of renunciation. So there is one, the slogan which is part of Mata Amritanandamayi Matham is Tyage Naike Amritatva Manashuhu. Tyage naike amritatva manashu. So what this means is that only through renunciation that we will attain immortality. This is what Amma says. Tyage naike amritatva manashu. Only by renunciation can we achieve immortality, become realized souls. Yeah. So if you take greed, it blocks the divine path to immortality. So that's the end of it. Yeah. And what Devi, who's Devi? Devi is one who's completely without any form of greed. She fulfills the needs of the devotees. She fulfills the needs of the devotees, and you don't need anything else from anyone else. So if you keep following the path of Lalitha Sahasranamam Devi, you will learn one important aspect, which is the aspect of generosity, which is the art of giving. Giving. All along we talk about the same concept of giving, 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 giving. Keep giving as much as you can. Don't think of taking. Taking will happen, but your thought process, your direction should be clearly that of giving. Give as much as you can. Lobanashinyai namaha, or Lobanashini, she who destroys greed in her devotees. It's basically the same thing. We spoke about Nirloba. Who is Devi? Nirloba. She has no greed. And what does she do? She removes the greed of her devotees. Now, people might turn around and say, okay, I have greed in me. And anyway, she is Lobanashini. So I leave it to Devi to remove the greed in me. No, it's not like that. It doesn't work like that. You have to take your effort. You have to do your bit. What is your bit? Take every effort to demonstrate the fact that you have improved in terms of Lobanashini, which is learning to give, learning to destroy greed. Yeah. So greed is a barrier to compassion, kindness, giving, and selfless service. What is selfless service? Don't even expect a thank you. Don't even expect a thank you when you do any service. You do your service, say namaste and walk away. We expect that thank you. When something is done, we expect that thank you. What is that? Yesterday we covered it. It is called as Sattvika ego. You have done an act of in Sattvika, in Sattvic form. You have done an act in the Sattvic form, and that triggers an ego. The Sattvic act of yours triggers that ego, and that ego is called as Sattvic ego. We covered it yesterday. If you remember the discussions that we had, is different types of egos. Ego coming from different forms and different ways in which ego is covered. So we have what is that? Devi eliminates all these greedy thoughts in her devotees to destroy all evil tendencies that come up in devotees, and ensures that good qualities come up in Devi's devotees. 172. Nisamshaya. She who is without doubt. She who is without doubt. Devi is the embodiment of truth. When she is the embodiment of truth, there is no room for doubt. So she is the if you remember, we talked of the Sankhya Tattva principles. In Sankhya Tattva principles, we talked of 25 principles. The first two is Purusha and Prakriti. And who is Devi? Devi is Moola Prakriti. She is the root cause for everything. When she is the root, or who is she? She is the Guru. She is right at the top. So Guru gives unequivocal advice on all subjects, on everything. So Devi cannot be somebody who is doubted. There is no question of doubting what is coming out from Devi. She is the supreme being as far as we are all concerned. Lalitha Sahasranamam is the supreme being, Moola Prakriti. So she who is without doubts. Nissamshayaha. That is what 172 states. 173. Samshayagni. Om Samshayagnai Namaha. She who kills all doubts. Now, this Samshaya is doubts. Agni, A-G-H-N-I, Agni, that word, Agni is the female form of Agna. It's not fire. The female form of Agna, and Agna means destroyer. So she is the female destroyer. That is what this this particular name refers to. Samshay Agni. So we will tend to have a lot of doubts, because when we are following, especially now is the time we are coming across abstract names, abstract qualities of Devi. We'll go more into more definitive qualities of Devi as we go along. But these are abstract qualities, and this is going about in the form of neti. All these things are being covered here. In this particular one, when we are following Devi, or when we are becoming Devi devotees of Lalitha Sahasranamam Devi, we will have a lot of doubts. So Devi removes all these doubts and awakens appropriate responses within the seeker, within the person who is following the path, to try and understand more and more about Lalitha Sahasranamam Devi. And the only way this can happen is if we get complete grace from the Guru. Who's the Guru in this case? The Guru in this case is Lalitha Sahasranamam, Moola Prakriti. She is the root cause of everything, and therefore she is the Guru in this particular case. She removes doubts and showers blessings on anyone who approaches her with a questioning attitude. So, we have even covered this with specific reference to what happened in the case of Mata Amritanandamayi. This was also I think I've mentioned this, if you recollect, where I think it is the 30th name of Amma, which is Karpura Vitika Moda. If you remember that particular one, Karpura Vitika Moda, which means someone whose tongue has become red by virtue of chewing betel leaf. And there was this doubter who also came to Amma and turned around and said, if you are true, you should prove it to me through Lalitha Sahasranamam, through any version of Lalitha Sahasranamam, whichever you choose to demonstrate. And as this person came up for the darshan, just before he reached her for the darshan, Amma took one betel leaf and put it in her mouth. She took one betel leaf and put it in her mouth. As this person came for darshan, she had chewed the betel leaf, opened her mouth, and showed her that devotee and pointed her finger and said, Mone Karpura Vidiga Modam. So she proved to that person, who is also a doubter. This doubting happens at every step. This doubting happens at every step, everything. See, when we do something, even in the yoga group or our bhajan group, immediately thought, what is this? This is Kali Yuga, remember. This is Kali Yuga. So every step that people do, there is doubt. Why is this person doing this? What is the ulterior motive? There must be some ulterior motive. There must be something. Something is wrong. So when we are giving free yoga classes, immediately, how can it be free? It even came to a situation where one particular person turned around and asked me, how are you giving free yoga classes? It's not possible. This person told me it is not possible. I said it is possible. Why is it possible? Because there are people who actually want to teach, are willing to teach for free. People are willing to give selfless service. So it is actually happening. Probably this is the only free class that is happening anywhere, in any form. Otherwise, there could be some sort of ulterior motive. We don't know. As far as this, our yoga group is concerned, I'm very clear. There is nothing. We have nothing. Our objective is to give, and give as much as we can. Keep giving. So what Devi does is, she removes doubts and showers blessings even on somebody who approaches her with a questioning attitude. Suppose you still don't, that those doubts don't go. you still think, what is this? Devi is, I'm having concerns. Is Devi actually true? That is why this name is there. What is this name? Samshayagni. Don't doubt. Don't doubt Devi. She is the person who is actually going to kill all your doubts. This name underlines to those people who want to doubt what Devi is all about. This underlines and says, Devi is somebody you can trust. She is going to remove all of your doubts. Nirbhava. Nirbhava. Bhava means origin, birth or existence. So Devi, Moola Prakriti, again goes back to that. She is without origin, she is without end. She doesn't have a start, she doesn't have an end. She is the embodiment of eternity. That is what Nirbhava means. 175. Bhavanashini. Bhavanashini. Om Bhavanashinyai Namaha. Now, she is the person who destroys the sorrow of samsara. What is samsara? The cycle of birth and death. So, you will get complete moksha if you express your Sharanagati to Lalitha Tripurasundari Devi. Bhavanashini. Bhavanashini, there is one river. If our friends, we went together, what is that? Sudhaji will probably remember. We went to that Bhavanashini river, which is in Ahobilam. In Ahobilam. I think we went in that last trip also. If we went, when we went to...
Did we go to Naimisharanyam?
We went that I think it was part of the Naimisharanyam trip as well. There is a river called as Ahobilam, where Hiranyakashipu, where you have what is that? Where Lord Narasimha is supposed to have appeared and killed Hiranyakashipu. And the blood of Hiranyakashipu is supposed to have been washed by this Mandakini river. So if you take bath in this river, I think that is that river we went and did some lit a lamp or something. I think that is the river Bhavanashini. So it is part of that area. It is somewhere in Andhra Pradesh, in Ahobilam. That river is called as Bhavanashini. That river is called as Bhavanashini. And all the sins of Hiranyakashipu were also washed away by this particular river. So they say that if you take bath in this Bhavanashini river, you will get moksha. You will get moksha. That's what they say. 176. Nirvikalpa. Nirvikalpa basically means she who is free from false imaginings. Nir means beyond or without, and Vi means apart from, and Kalpa is thought, imagination, theory. So what this means is that somebody who is free from duality, beyond thought, devoid of name, form or class. That is what Devi is. Devi is who is free from all these false imaginings. So Vikalpa is something that you can talk about, but it does not exist. You can talk about it, but it does not exist. So there is one beautiful paragraph which explains this. Here comes the son of the barren woman. Here comes the son of the barren woman after a bath in the waters of the mirage, wearing sky flowers in her hair and holding a bow made of rabbit horns. Sounds very nice, isn't it? Here comes the son of a barren woman after a bath in the waters and wearing sky flowers in his hair, holding a bow made out of rabbit horns. So the question is, there are barren women. Who is a barren woman? Barren woman is a woman who cannot give birth to children. So if there is a barren woman, how can she have a son? So it is referring to the son of the barren woman, and then the sky exists. She is referring to sky flowers. What is sky flowers? There is no such thing as sky flowers. So this person is wearing sky flowers, rabbits are existing, but what about rabbit horns? So complete description is given. The person who is listening to it thinks that, oh, there is all these things are there, but in reality, there is nothing. So this is a complete imaginative situation, and this imaginative situation is called as Vikalpa. So for this Vikalpa scenario, which we can all be exposed to, we should remember that at the height of meditation, this Vikalpa stops. Devi is the person who stays always in that state of Nirvikalpa. There is no Vikalpa for her. She is beyond all this imaginative stories. Anything that is created in the mind, remember we talked of Maya. Product of your mind, which is Maya, is unreal. Is unreal. Devi is unconditional, eternal knowledge. So what is Vikalpa? Vikalpa is opposed to the Shastras. Vikalpa is not true. Vikalpa is somebody's imagination which is coming out as a poetic expression. That is fine. But it is not, it is completely opposed to what is logic, what is the Shastras, what is the scriptures. And Nirvikalpa is not opposed. So therefore, she is beyond the Shastras and therefore she is Nirvikalpa. Nirabhada. Next one. Nirabhadayai Namaha. Nirabhadayai Namaha. 177. She who is not disturbed by anything. Bhada. Bhada means obstacles. Bhada means obstacles. Yeah. So there is another word of another way of explaining this. Abhada. Abhada is incorrect knowledge. Bhada means obstacles. Abhada is incorrect knowledge. So suppose you see, in dim light, you see a serpent, you see a rope. Suppose in dim light you see a rope, you might think it's a snake. And now, if you are in Kerala, you will certainly think it's a snake. So many snakes everywhere, appearing everywhere in people's houses. So if you see a rope, you might think that it is a snake. But if the light is a little brighter, then you will realize, it's not a snake, it's actually a rope. So what this means is that, what this basically means is that Devi is a person who removes obstacles, that is one, and she is unaffected by physical or mental distress. She is not disturbed by anything. She is not disturbed by incorrect knowledge or understanding, and she is pure consciousness. That is what this means. Yeah. Nirbhada. Nirabhada. Nirabhada. Not Nirbhada. Nirabhada. Next one is Nirbheda. Nirbheda. Bheda is sense of difference. Bhada and Bheda. Bheda is sense of difference. She was beyond all sense of difference. So here in this, there are no similarities in the qualities of being or differences. So as far as Devi is concerned, all aspects of life or life forms are all the same. So she does not see difference in people, whether it is by high or low, by this caste, this race, this position in society, this wealth, this he's in position of power. No. As far as Devi is concerned, everybody is the same. Devi is the supreme ruler, infinite and supreme Shakti, devoid of all differences and destroys all differences. Devi whatever differences are there, Devi breaks those barriers, and whoever approaches Devi with a clean and pure heart gets the darshan of Devi and is able to get blessings from Lalitha Sahasranamam Devi. So if you think that Shakti and Shiva are different, concept of duality, Shakti and Shiva, if you think they are different, then what will happen is that is not going to help you in terms of your spiritual progress. In this particular case of Lalita Tripura Sundari Upasana. Yeah. If you focus on the truth and recognize the singular identity, the chances are you will be able to ascend in this particular case. Okay. Nirbeda, she who is beyond all sense of difference. That is what this refers to. 179. Bhedanashini. Bhedanashini. She removes from her devotees sense of differences born out of vasanas. So you have different forms, different themes. You have the concept of duality, which is separateness and opposites, such as friend and foe, ours and theirs, victory and defeat. All this is the cause of worldly sorrow. We spoke about it just a short while back. All this is coming out of what? Out of desire. Desire causes anger. All these are related. So what do we need to do? We need to overcome all of this. So it is not enough. Like I said yesterday, I spoke about the 30% rule. What is the 30% rule? Whatever is said in any presentation, anywhere in the world, not here, anywhere in the world, only 30% of that will be retained inside your brain. It is up to you to take more and allow that information to process inside the brain. So today also we spoke about some very important human emotions, greed, anger, all these things. We spoke about krodha, we spoke about greed, lobha, all these aspects we spoke. So it's not enough if we just discuss about this. It should go inside the brain, stay there, process, and immediately after this, or maybe tomorrow morning you wake up, you're a better person. And you have got over your krodha, you have got over your greed, you have got over, you've learned to give more. All these things are happening. Even if there is a 5% or 10% improvement in that, that is an improvement. That is an improvement. So, if this sense of difference is removed, which is the Beda, the difference, which is the Beda we are referring to, then there is no more sorrow. We will not be suffering from sorrow. Same thing, the same thing which we spoke a short while back. Anger causes sorrow. In this, again, if these differences are there within the body, within the persons, within the mind, that is going to create, it is only going to create sorrow. Nirnasha, the final name for today, Nirnasha. Nirnasha basically says that Devi, who is imperishable. Nirnasha, Nasha is perish, yeah. So, or destroy, somebody who's taken to its end. She has no end. Devi has no end. That is the most important thing that we should know. So, if you look at any physical forms are subject to decay. We spoke about this, the importance of prana. You have a boiled potato and you have a raw potato, which is going to get spoiled. When the prana shakti is removed from inside the potato will get destroyed in a few hours. Whereas if you have a raw potato which has got the prana shakti inside it, that potato is going to last. It will last 1, 2, 3, 5, maybe a couple of weeks, no problem. So prana shakti is what keeps us going. If prana shakti is gone, decay sets in. If physical forms are subject to decay, this name also basically talks of the even when Devi is concerned, she is somebody who's somebody who's imperishable, who cannot be destroyed. She is beyond destruction. There are other names of Devi which we have covered in the past. Nirakara, 137. Nirvikara, 145. Same meaning. The same meaning of this one, Nirnasha, which basically means that she who is imperishable. All right. Tomorrow we will do till 190. And the next day, whenever it is, that is either Thursday or Friday, we will do up till 200. And on Saturday, we'll have the chanting as before. I offer these words at the lotus feet of Lalitha Sahasranamam Devi. Om Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Shanti 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 Om Lokaha Samastaha Sugino Bhavantu Lokaha Samastaha Sugino Bhavantu Lokaha Samastaha Sugino Bhavantu Om Shanti 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 Karacharana Kritam va Kayajam Karmajam va Shravananayana jam va Manasam va Paradam Vihidam Avihidam va Sarvamedakshamasva Jaya Jaya Karunabde Shri Mahadeva Shambho Jaya Jaya Karunabde Shri Mahadeva Shambho Jaya Jaya Karunabde Shri Mahadeva Shambho Om Shri Gurubhyo Namah Harihi